We are all small business owners. I don't think there's anybody in this room that has more than 500 employees that I know of. So the reality of small business, 18.4% of businesses fail in the first year, small businesses. 49.7% of small businesses fail in the first 5 years, and 65.5% of businesses have failed by year 10. However, default rates for dentally related loans are less than 1%, which is why banks will trip over even you, brand new grads with $292,000 in debt, who bought the mandatory BMW and the golf course house for $450,000, making you $950,000 in total debt. Banks are still tripping over you to lend you another $1 million to start one or buy one. Because once they give it to you, they know that you're going to figure out a way to pay it off, because that's just what dentists do. Is that because we're better business people? Do only 1% of dental practices fail or default on their loans because we're so awesome at business? Why aren't dentists failing at the same rate? Do we rely too heavily on the value of our skill set that we possess? I don't know if anybody's ever done barter or trade with a reputable person, right? I've done some stuff for contractors, and we've had people paint the outside of our practices, and I'll do a couple crowns. It's crazy. I've had a friend, he's retired now at a very young age, but he just does dentistry to barter. So he'll be like, yeah, I'll do those veneers for you. You got anything to trade? And he's got like a ski boat. He's got jet skis. He got a Harley. The crazy thing is here, guys, what we are able to do with our skill set, we can prep a crown in 25 minutes, get $1,000, take 55% of it if we have a good business. $550, 25 minutes, that's pretty freaking good. We have an extremely valuable skill set. So all of you people out there that chose dentistry, congratulations. That was a smart decision. We have a very valuable skill set for the amount of time it takes to produce our production. If we have a constant flow of patients through our office, sky's the limit. So if I'm doing trade work, right, back to my example, if I'm doing trade work, if somebody's going to charge me $8,500 to paint the exterior of one of my practices, and he wants to barter for dental work, and he's got 3 missing teeth, which is not rare where I'm from in Chino Valley, Arizona, I could easily do 3 implants, put 3 crowns on those teeth, and more than cover $8,500. I can do that in 90 minutes. It'll take him and a crew of 3 a week to paint the outside of my building. So we have a very, very, very valuable skill set, and we can do these things in a very short period of time with minimal overhead if we know how to run the business. However, with that comes a downside. With that comes the ability to coast, the ability to be super sloppy with our business practices. Because if we are super duper sloppy, we still make $300 on that $1,000 crown instead of $550. And most of us can live off $300 for that $1,000 crown. So what happens is we learn to not pay attention. We learn that, well, I don't really know how to read the P&L, and I think my CPA sends them to me every month, but I don't even open his emails, so I don't really know what the overhead is. I don't know my categorization. I don't really know much about my business, but I know that most months I can pay myself 30% as if I was an associate, and I can cover payroll. And sometimes I have to put the lab on a credit card, but most times not. And I'm still making $220,000 a year, still taking 3 weeks off, still put 2 kids through college. I'm fine with that. Not judging you. That's cool. That's fine. But over the course of an entire career, if you're leaving 25% on the table, that is life-changing money. That is the ability to retire 15 years earlier if you choose to. That is the ability to pay off your house. That is the ability to do any number of things with the excess cash. And maybe even if you're not motivated by money, maybe you just give more of it away. But if you're gonna be there, if you're gonna operate the thing, you might as well operate it the right way. You're putting in the same amount of time, squeeze that extra 25% out. You know, we see it all the time. The math is really, really simple. If you have $1 million practice, you have 70% overhead, you're gonna walk away with $300,000 for your practice. Lots of benefits even at that, because you're paying down the note on the practice, you have a sellable asset, maybe you own the building, you're paying down the mortgage, all good stuff. Black belt from DSI comes in, has the same $1 million practice, 55 or 50% overhead. They make $550 a year for the exact same numbers, the exact same number of new patients, the exact same number of hygienists, the exact same production. $250,000 a year. Multiply that by 10, 2.5 million. Multiply that by 30. You're talking about real life-changing money. I love this quote. Good old Elon. If I do a job in 30 minutes, it's because I spent 10 years learning how to do it in 30 minutes, Mrs. Jones. You owe me for the years, not the minutes. You know how long it took me and how many sacrifices it took me to get my DDS so I could prep this crown for you in 15 minutes, Mrs. Jones? 8 years. It took me 8 years to learn how to do it. It took me an additional 10 years to learn how to do it in 15 minutes. Jim Collins, Good to Great. I know that you guys have probably read or at least heard of this book. Good is the enemy of great. And that is one of the key reasons why we have so little things that become great. We don't have great schools, principally because we have good schools. We don't have great government, principally because we have good government. Few people attain great lives, in large part because it is just so easy to settle for a good life. It is a good life when we're making $220,000, which is 4 times the average salary in the United States, when 5 billion people in the world live off $2 a day or less, $220,000. How dare us even want more? Everybody in this room, shame on you. How dare you? We're doing just fine. The bottom line is, guys, if you're going to be doing it and you're there, you might as well maximize and find out what your full potential is. And then you can decide how you could put that money to good use. If it's just for you personally, that's a personal choice. If it doesn't go outside the extension of your family and your extended family, your choice. If you want to improve the world, put a dent in the universe, that's your choice. I have a new goal. My new goal is to create an international nonprofit that has practices in Africa and Mexico, in the Philippines, and the Dominican Republic. And, frankly, I'm kind of at a place where I don't really need to do all this stuff anymore. If I decided to sell everything, I'm good, but I have a greater purpose. I really, really want to drive harder so I can serve what I think is my greater purpose. And that's just not adding another zero or comma in my bank account. It's to actually change lives for the better.